"You can't stop this lift, Mr. Halvorson. The board's decision is final," barked HOA President Kelly Whitmore, standing squarely in my front yard as a young couple drifted by on the new chairlift, waving sheepishly from above my roofline. She thought her authority was ironclad. What she didn't know was that I had decades of experience manipulating sound and perception in. I was about to make her project infamous. My name is Ethan Halvorson. For 35 years, I worked as a sound designer in the film industry, mostly action and horror. My job was to make people feel fear, tension, awe. In 2019, I retired with 2 Oscar nominations and finally built my dream home, a handcrafted timber lodge nestled deep in Juniper Ridge, Colorado. 3 acres of alpine quietude, custom windows framing snow-capped peaks, and a garden my wife Elise used as physical therapy for her arthritis. It was peace earned. For a while, everything was perfect. The HOA maintained roads and aesthetics, but didn't meddle. That changed when Kelly Whitmore arrived, a former resort executive with a knack for enhancing property value. Within months, she maneuvered her way into the HOA presidency. When I came home from visiting my brother in Utah, I found survey stakes and strangers trampling through my property. "You'll have to speak with MS Whitmore," her assistant said, clearly uneasy. Kelly's explanation was sugary. "Just planning our winter amenities. Nothing's final yet." But then came the equipment. Concrete mixers, cranes, steel support beams. One worker casually mentioned, "Chairlift will be running by first snowfall." I learned the truth at an informational meeting scheduled when most residents were at work. Only 9 of us attended. That's when Kelly unveiled the plans for a new ski lift slicing directly through the heart of our community. The lift path ran directly over my house. I objected. "This violates everything in the covenants." And I never got a letter. "Section 42, paragraph F," she replied, sliding a document across the table, "allows easements for community improvements." Letters went out in April. They hadn't. And I knew Section 42 was a late-night edit labeled as a clarification. Even my neighbor mile former appellate judge pulled me aside afterward. "She's gaming the system, Ethan. Her husband's company is doing the build. Her brother's on the zoning board. Be careful." I contacted attorney Lila Shah, one of the state's top land use specialists. She found the language vague but alarmingly open-ended. Our emergency injunction was denied. The judge was a golf buddy of Kelly's brother. The justification? The lift didn't technically touch my land, so no irreparable harm. Construction ramped up. Ancient trees along my boundary were cleared. Noise and machinery filled our quiet sanctuary. Elisa's condition worsened. Her hands stiffened, her sleep disrupted. She could no longer tend a raised bed she loved. Complaints to the county went ignored. Permits were altered after approval. Local media wouldn't touch it. Kelly's husband sat on the advisory board of the town paper. I was bleeding money, losing hope. Then one night, Elise cried in the dark. This was supposed to be where I got better. That's when I remembered who I was. Not a victim, a craftsman. I didn't need to fight the system. I needed to make people feel. Sound has power. The power to create unease, dread, panic. And I had all the tools. I spent 3 sleepless nights designing what I would call the Vertigo Array, a directional sound system engineered to simulate mechanical failure. Groans of stress cables, whines of grinding bearings, subaudible rumbles that stirred the gut. I recorded the real lift first, then layered a profile of tension and decay. Using parabolic speakers and precision placement, I ensured the effect only reached passengers mid-ride inaudible from the ground or stations. When the lift launched, Kelly threw a party, ribbon cutting, local press, champagne flutes. I let it run smooth for the first few cycles. Then, with Elise monitoring from below, I flipped the switch. By the 4th pass, riders gripped the bars. A father pointed skyward, panicked. One engineer visiting family pulled the emergency brake. Evacuation took 2 hours. No mechanical issues were found, but the damage was done. Rumors spread. TikToks showed riders gasping at phantom snaps. The phrase "Juniper jitters" trended on skiing forums. Lift usage plummeted 60% in 3 weeks. Maintenance became constant. Kelly fumed. She called another meeting. "We found no issues," she snapped. "These fears are irrational. But fear doesn't need facts. It needs a feeling." And I had delivered. She tried hiring acoustics experts. They heard anomalies but couldn't trace the source. Nothing was illegal. Nothing touched their system. And so the lift remains. But it rarely runs full. When it does, riders pass silently over my home, eyes forward, white-knuckled. I don't need revenge. I don't want headlines. I just wanted quiet. And I got it. Because sometimes the best way to fight Noise with sound